Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another options and play video update. Uh, Today's video just kind of like a high level topic. I just want to briefly touch on something we've talked about in the past, and I've mentioned it a bunch, especially during the VTF during the day, and it really more so revolves around periods of higher volatility or when stocks are or maybe an individual stock is really getting crushed. And it's like this idea of not necessarily needing to pick the bottom. And for me personally, it's about not really wanting to deal with that. Okay. So like a name like Apple, when it's like really sliding very sharply, right, back in March, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that, after 3, 4 down days in a row, the stock dropped very quickly. People were like looking for the bottom, trying to catch a bottom and trying to catch a rebound, right? And for some people, maybe they managed to do that, right? Maybe they managed to time the low. Maybe they managed to get good prices. Maybe they managed to catch like a really nice trade out of it, right? Um, the thing is, especially when it comes to options, is that periods of higher volatility means higher option pricing, right? So even if the stock is dropping, the price of the calls can still be going up too because the overall volatility is elevated, overall implied volatility is higher. So as the stock drops, the puts get more expensive, but also the calls get more expensive too. So it's kind of like an unusual idea, but it's what happens when overall volatility is higher. So if you do get a bounce, it's got to be large enough of a bounce and fast enough of a bounce to compensate for what could possibly be a contraction in overall volatility or implied volatility, right? So sometimes the bounce might be big enough to do that. Other times the bounce, even though the stock may move off its low, it might not be enough to counteract that, and this, you may end up having bought options on the day when the stock actually bottomed. But what you'll notice is that after like a 2, 3 day bounce, the options either are maybe like flat or you could even be down because the overall implied volatility is starting to contract, right? So in situations like that, what I like to do is just wait, right? Like let the bottom form, let support get established, and then let a setup develop that I have more confidence in that would potentially lead to more upside, right? Because not only will theoretically the overall implied volatility, the option pricing should come down once the stock starts to cool off and consolidate, like Apple, right? Like so after the huge volatility, got into an increasingly tight range. Option premium started to come down because the overall trading range day to day and day out was smaller, right? And then what you watch for is just a good setup to develop that gives you higher confidence that it's actually going to start moving off the low, right? So when it broke the downtrend, cleared moving averages, it had a much better setup than, in my opinion, like trying to like time like the move during like the chop when the stock was still in the process of bottoming. So yes, I know everybody's fascinated with catching the absolute top, catching the absolute bottom, but when it comes to options, sometimes it's not as or it might not be as rewarding as just being patient and waiting for like a right setup to develop, right? Let that overall premium start to walk down. Let support develop, let the ranges develop, let the resistance develop, and then you have like levels to work with, and you can maybe sink your teeth into a trade where you might have more confidence in. All right. So again, I mean, just kind of like something I wanted to touch on as we're starting to see a lot of stocks work their way out of these lower levels. I mean, it was just something that I wanted to like talk about because it's something that's kind of relevant right now. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on swing trading with options or managing options like rolling options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options play. Hope you have a wonderful night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.